The Shadow Behind Me, a terrifying horror story. Before this story begins, I need you to do one thing. Look behind you. Seriously. Take 3 seconds and make sure no one is standing there. Good? Because after you hear what happened to me, you may never feel safe in an empty room again. My name is Ethan Carter, and 6 months ago I moved into an old apartment in Seattle looking for a fresh start. I thought the strange noises, the cold air, and the flickering lights were just part of living in an old building. Then, one night, at exactly 3:13 a.m., I noticed something impossible. My shadow wasn't copying my movements. It was moving on its own. At first, it stayed a few feet behind me. Every night, it came a little closer. Then, it started appearing in mirrors, security cameras, and photographs. No one else could see it. Until the night it whispered my name, and I realized the shadow wasn't following me. It was waiting to become me. If you're still here, don't skip this story, because the ending changed my life forever. And after you hear it, you might never look at your own shadow the same way again. The first night. If you're listening to this alone, don't look behind you, because that's exactly how it begins. My name is Ethan Carter, and until 6 months ago, I never believed in ghosts, curses, or anything supernatural. I believed every strange sound had a logical explanation. Every shadow was simply a trick of light. I was wrong. It all started after I moved to Seattle, Washington. The apartment wasn't anything special. A small one-bedroom unit on the 4th floor of an old brick building built sometime in the 1940s. The rent was surprisingly cheap, and after losing my job in Portland, cheap was exactly what I needed. The landlord, an elderly man named Mr. Collins, hesitated before handing me the keys. "One thing," he said quietly. I smiled. "What?" He looked directly into my eyes. "If you ever think you see someone standing behind you, don't turn around immediately." I laughed. He didn't. That should have been my first warning. The first week was completely normal. I unpacked my furniture, started applying for jobs, bought groceries. Nothing unusual happened. Then, on the 8th night, everything changed. At exactly 3:13 a.m., I woke up. Not because of a nightmare, not because of a sound. I simply opened my eyes. The bedroom was silent, too silent. Even the traffic outside had disappeared. I reached for my phone. 3:13 a.m. That's when I noticed it. A shadow, standing beside my bedroom door. It looked like a man, tall, completely black, no face, no eyes, just darkness. My heart began pounding. I blinked. The figure disappeared. I convinced myself it had been sleep paralysis. The next morning, I laughed about it, until I found footprints. Not on the floor, on the ceiling. Dark footprints, leading from my bedroom to the hallway. Then, they stopped. Over the next few days, strange things kept happening. Cabinet doors opened by themselves. Lights flickered. My television turned on at exactly 3:13 every morning. Still, I ignored everything. Until Friday, I came home after buying coffee. As I unlocked my apartment door, something caught my attention. My shadow. It didn't match my movements. For just 1 second, my body stopped, but my shadow took one more step, then froze. I stared at the floor. My breathing became shallow. "No," I whispered. I looked again. Everything was normal. Maybe I imagined it. Maybe I was exhausted. That's what I kept telling myself. That night, I decided to record myself sleeping. I placed my phone on a bookshelf, pressed record, and went to bed. When morning came, I almost deleted the video without watching it. Something told me, don't. I skipped ahead. 1 a.m. Nothing. 2 a.m. Nothing. 3:12 a.m. My bedroom door slowly opened by itself. Nobody entered. The room remained empty. Then, at exactly 3:13, something appeared behind my bed. Not a person. A shape. darker than darkness itself. It stood perfectly still, watching me sleep for 7 minutes. Then, without moving its legs, it slid backward into the wall. I watched the footage again and again. My hands wouldn't stop shaking because one detail changed everything. The shadow had no reflection in the bedroom mirror. Only I did. That wasn't a ghost. It was something else. I ran downstairs to show the video to Mr. Collins. He watched silently, his face turned pale. Then, he asked one question. "It finally found you?" "What?" He looked toward my apartment. "You looked behind you, didn't you?" I remembered the first night, the doorway, the shadow, the warning. Before I could answer, every light inside the building went out. Darkness swallowed the hallway. Then, from somewhere above us, came the slow sound of footsteps. 1, 2, 3. Mr. Collins whispered, "Don't look up." But curiosity is stronger than fear. I looked, standing upside down on the ceiling. Directly above us was the same shadow. This time, it had eyes, and they were staring only at me. Then it smiled. The lights came back. The ceiling was empty. Mr. Collins grabbed my arm so hard it hurt. "You have 3 nights left." 3 nights until what? He didn't answer. He simply walked away, leaving me alone with something that had finally